Show me yours contest. Gallbladder surgery? Appendix scars? Seen them. One time, Jordan Pawani showed me the scar from when he fell off his bike. 28 stitches to the head, which was actually pretty cool because it kind of created this funky part in his hair when it grew back in. He was a dork burger for riding without a helmet, and now he's not quite right in the head. So I win again. Well, I mean, sort of. I don't really have the greatest relationship with knives. I mean, my mom even says I get quiet around them. It's true. Like, have you ever had something pokey pointing like right at your head? Like if you're talking to someone, okay, and there's a tip of a branch hanging down and it's kind of getting right between your eyes, and the more you try to ignore it, the more it pours into you. Yeah, I've always hated that ever since, well, forever. I mean, as long as I can remember. Kind of gives me a headache, and then I just stop paying attention, like the world just goes away. Ooh, sounds crazy, right? My dad says I've been a loudmouth since before I was born, and that's why the knife got my tongue. When I first showed Sophia, she imagined I was an audience volunteer at a knife-throwing exhibition. And that I stood there bravely with a cherry on the end of my tongue when the knife flew by, raising my tongue as it pierced the cherry. She's imaginative. Kaden says I must have been eating an apple with a knife. You know, the way people cut it and bring it up to their mouth with the knife. Because that's what he does. He's not so imaginative. And he's a bit of a narcissist. So, let's say you're a surgeon and you were out late the night before, had a bit too much. You can already see where this is going, right? But wait, it gets better. Because you're not just any surgeon. No, you're a freaking obstetrician, and you were called in to perform a cesarean on a mother. Except, whoops, you accidentally cut a little too deep. And the baby, who hasn't even been born yet, hasn't had her first fight, or been to battle, or even had enough hot pockets to even cause her to need her gallbladder out, has already been scarred for life. Talk about wicked intense, am I right? I mean, birth is painful enough on its own, right? Like who wants to be born when she's got her own warm, cozy, get-down lounge and not a care in the world, getting fed without even needing to open her mouth? Except it was open. My mouth, that is. Bummer for me. Dad says I've been a loudmouth since before I was born, but that's not true. Like right now. I'm not saying a word. Kaden, the guy with the apple and the knife, has got the room across the hall. He's doing all the talking. Between the slicing and the eating, it's all him. Blah, blah, blah. I just wish he'd put the knife away, you know? He knows what they do to me, but says I could use the little desensitization therapy. So he's talking about something, who knows. He's a bit of a flirt, and every other word out of his apple-filled mouth is about what chicks want. So he's eating and gesturing, and every time he gestures with the knife, the tip points to a different place on my body, like my belly, or my heart, or my throat, or it feels like it's hovering right in front of my face or my forehead. And without it even touching me, energy just starts pouring into me. And that's when I get the headache. You know, it's not my fault. Just recently, I was back home visiting my parents, and I came across the insurance bill for my C-section, and you know what? That loser of a surgeon got an extra 5 G's for stitching my tongue back up together. But of course, I was the inconvenience because he didn't get to go home right away and sleep off his bender. And Dad was all, mistakes happen. He was looking right at me, like I was the one who had made the mistake. But Kaden's all right, I guess. He's just goofy, sort of. because he's feeding me pieces of this apple to make my headache go away. Except he cuts a piece off and the knife is still in his hand when he brings it to my mouth. The apple is bitter. It tastes bitter. What kind of apple is bitter? I wish I could be more like Sophia. She's strong, you know? She doesn't shut up when guys talk at her. Yeah, no. Guys don't mess with her. But my headache is gone. That's good, right? So is the rest of the world. Gone, that is. When the lights go out, I have a vague sense of pressure, a loud beating in my head. I can't move or speak. This must be what it's like inside the womb. Yeah, that's it. I'm back inside the womb, and the last thing I want to do is to leave, you know? The out there should stay that way. But then there's this force, the push, the pounding, the pain over and over again. It just doesn't stop. Because no one can stay in the womb forever, right? Oh, I'm not complaining. No, I'm not really the loudmouth my father says I am. And there's already one scar there, so why risk another, you know? Like why would I open my mouth again? Why get caught speaking of just desserts, like before? Like Dad says I did. All those reasonable wishes are somewhere, but they're not on these lips. And now the life cuts through me. The lights are glaring fluorescent.